Welcome to r/malicious compliance, where we share stories of people conforming to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. The first story. Mischievous employee and their team turn environmental initiatives into chaotic office shenanigans, leaving their boss fuming. The second story. When faced with a landlord who refused to cover repairs, an engineer turned the tables by meticulously documenting the DIY repairs, billing their time at a professional rate. And the first story is Drewish Boss versus Climate Change. Back when I was working as a submissive indentured GIMP consultant for Drewish Boss, one of our clients had the environmental program they were trying to foist on contractors, a large part of which was utilities reduction and energy conservation. Drewish Boss jumped on this because it gave him an opportunity to rusty trombones suck up to the client and save money, which is his version of making it to third base. Typically, these ideas are feel-good BS and consist of crap such as turn lights off when you're finished using a room, turn your computer off instead of just logging out at the end of the day, try to use the heating and air conditioning less. The first one makes sense and is somewhat practical, until you figure out that turning the conference room lights off makes F all difference because the rest of the building is lit like a Christmas tree. The second one is completely stupid because my computer took 15 minutes at least to boot up and log in, because our IT guy was a useless M and put a bunch of irrelevant SH on it. The aircon/heater one? If any of you people have ever worked in an office, the thermostat is a major effing political issue. Probably more so than people stealing lunches and leaving SH in the sink and stealing pens. Effing with it is not recommended. So Drewish Boss releases an email to his victims' team leads. In line with clients' contractor requirements, we've started a new environmental management program to reduce our footprint and comply with some BS he Googled. All groups are required to submit their proposal to both comply with this program and identify further opportunities to reduce our impact and improve performance. F's sake. Oh well, time to F with the penny-pinching C. Drewish Boss. That sounds like a fantastic way to meet both the client's expectations and our own regular responsibilities. I've forwarded your email onto my team so that they're all aware that we each have a responsibility for minimizing our environmental impact. Further, I've set up an electronic suggestion box so that my guys can throw ideas around, and we'll be looking at and trying new ways to achieve the KPIs you've outlined. Mexican Space Program. Drewish Boss applauds my initiative in getting on this straight away and for involving my staff. Excellent. First things first, I call a brainstorming meeting so that we can discuss all this hippy-dippy BS, and so that I can shout everyone coffee and muffins and expense it. I encourage all suggestions, no matter how stupid or impractical. Some of them are really good. Encourage staff to work from home to reduce kilometers traveled. Organize a carpooling group for people that live around the same area. Offer incentives for people that bike or take public transport to work. Put scrap paper in the photocopier for drafts so we don't waste good paper on SH we're going to chuck anyway. Others are less so, but a good indication of why I picked the people I picked for my team? Set the photocopiers to really light gray so it uses less power. Take the light bulbs out of the emergency exit lights because we don't use them anyway. Turn the heating and aircon off. Get work to take us out to lunch and coffee every day so we don't use the office coffee machine and microwave. Install a nuclear reactor in the basement car park to make us independent of the coal-fired power grid. I type up the good ones and send them off to Drewish Boss. Drewish Boss rejects them on the following basis. I don't like staff working from home because they might be stealing time from the company and wasting my money. Carpooling is a good idea, but I don't see why the company should do anything relating to people's private travel arrangements. The objective of the program is to reduce impact and cost, not spend money to get people to do what they should already be doing. You do what you want with your printer. Fine. F you, A-Wipe. I tell him I'm going to try out some of the other ideas and see how we go. The following day, I take my team out to lunch, after setting up a billing category on our Drewish time-writing system for environmental impact management. Everyone charges an hour to it for lunch, and I expense the bill. Couple $100. Drewish Boss screeches at me and rejects the expense claim. I say F it and refile it the following morning as client and networking expenses, which gets approved because sucking up to clients is good. The day after, I let Shane and TA work from home, as they live the furthest away. I rotate everyone through so they get at least one day of that during the week. This really peeves Drewish boss off, but he can't really do much because we're still meeting all our money quotas, deadlines, and billable KPIs. Still, he kiboshes it at the end of the week. Oh well. Well, that's it for the good ideas. Time for the crappy ones. With your powers combined, I am Captain Planet. TA sets one of the photocopiers to grayscale only. Minimum darkness, contrast, whatever. This really peeves the accountant off because it's end of month and she has a bunch of SH to print off and fax and whatnot. She thinks the photocopier is out of toner, but it doesn't say low toner, so she thinks it's effed and screeches at the IT Mong, who says the photocopier is leased from a third party, so it's not his problem. More screeching when the same problem mysteriously affects the other copiers. Drewish boss has to intervene and mediate. Much amusement. TA is maximum smart. The real damage, however, is when Shane starts effing with the thermostat. Sometimes it's too hot, sometimes it's too cold, sometimes the fan is on but the heating and cooling is off, so it sounds like a turbine but doesn't actually do anything. It starts off as a subtle shift and gets progressively worse and worse. Shane is using one of the panels in the conference room that everyone thought was disconnected, so the main one hasn't been effed with. This starts to peeve everyone off, particularly the office girls. They beat a Drewish boss. Drewish boss says it's due for servicing in a month. I'm not paying for a call-out and a service a few weeks later. The girls are wearing jumpers, sweaters for our knuckle-dragging American friends, to work because the office is freezing, only to find that they have to take them off at lunch because it's a sauna. At the same time, I've found that having a tray full of scrap printer actually works quite well if you just want to run a draft off of proofing. I circulate this to my fellow team leads, and they're all for it because they can say they're complying, while I do all the work. So we set it up after a few emails bounce around. Drewish boss is CC'd but ignores it because it has nothing to do with lining his pockets with dosh. What wasn't discussed was effing with Drewish boss's printer, which I decide to do because F him, trees are good or something. Drewish boss figures this out when he's trying to get a proposal printed and bound, and every printer he sends it to ends up on scrap paper, and he's screeching for the head of whoever has decided to F with him. It also doesn't help that every printer has had its default settings changed to so effing light that a bloodhound with a metal detector couldn't find anything on the effing page. TA very helpfully prints it off for him on our printer because she sabotaged them, so she can put the think back to normal color and quality in 15 seconds. Drewish boss very grateful and gives her kudos at the temple to staff meeting. Idiot. Anyway, we decide we should kill all this SH before it gets to a head or any real money is spent. Shane, TA, and I go in on the weekend and change all the photocopiers back, get rid of all the scrap paper, reset the thermostat controls to the default, 24 or something, and then go for a beer or 3. Back in on Monday, everyone is just glad SH is back to normal. Office wenches are happy they don't have to wear spacesuits to work on account of the temperature. Drewish boss happy he doesn't have to pay Fuji Xerox or the aircon people to fix this. Everything seems to be returning to normal, and a couple of weeks go by and it's largely forgotten, until I send the following email to everyone in the office. Hi all, thank you for participating in our program for evaluating the proposed utilities and environmental impact reduction measures. This program was helpful in determining which of our suggested measures was worth pursuing. Please provide your feedback so that we can look at short, medium-term solutions and potential long-term goals. Mexican Space Program. I start getting replies almost immediately. The accountant is actually reasonably sharp for a Christian and gets it straight away. You mean to tell me all that BS with the printers was actually you? Thanks a lot. Now I owe IT Mong and Drewish boss an apology. You've caused me a lot of stress and I don't appreciate it. Payroll girl, who uses annoying emoticons like a stupid teenager. Seriously? That was really inconsiderate. My desk is right next to the vent and it was freezing and too hot and I had to move desks. Not happy. Training Zeppelin. Alright mate, it was good for a laugh, but you took the pee letting it go on that long. Actually stuff it. Was worth seeing Drewish boss run around like a headless CH because his printer was effed. Finally, Drewish boss. Mexican Space Program, you can dress this up however you want, but using an official policy to play pranks on your colleagues violates our professional conduct and zero horseplay policy. As a team lead, you're expected to act in a professional manner at all times in the workplace. I'm not as dumb as you apparently think, and I know you had some of your staff in on this, but I'm going to leave this with you as the responsible senior person involved. A copy of this email will be printed and put in your personnel file. Consider this an official warning. Drewish boss. My reply? Drewish boss, that's only fair. May I suggest that the warning be printed on scrap paper? We had positive feedback on this, and warnings only apply for 12 months before getting binned. Drewish boss. No, I would be taking this seriously if I were you. Me. Can I work from home tomorrow? Drewish boss. Peeve off. Your cheerful and cavalier attitude towards environmental activities in your company was really impressive. You definitely found a way to have a laugh and leave your mark on this program. I especially like the way you handled the printers and the thermostat. You decided to play a joke and punish your boss by his own skin, and it brought a lot of laughs. And your colleagues who were the victims of this joke also took it with humor. And your colleagues' responses to the last message were just awesome. They all seemed to be big fans of your joke. The best part is that you ended it all by serving everyone an email thanking them for participating in the program, which led to additional reactions and jokes. Your question about working from home capped off the story with a great joke. It seems like your boss tried to warn you, but you skillfully responded to it, leaving everyone laughing at work. The next story is, Landlord tried to exploit me for free labor. I'm renting a little house out past the suburbs of the city I'm currently working in. It's a little old and the appliances are a bit dated, but it was much cheaper than a 2-bedroom apartment downtown, and I move around every couple of years for work. My landlord lives out of state and doesn't have anyone local, so for the past year and a half I haven't talked to anyone. Just pay my rent on time and keep doing my thing. About 4 months ago, plumbing issues started popping up, and 2 major appliances decided to give up the ghost. I notified my landlord via email and written letter. I rent a lot and have learned to abide by the exact wording in a lease. After several follow-ups and phone calls, a local handyman showed up to look at everything and provide a quote. After receiving the quote for parts plus labor, the landlord told me flat out that they will not be paying for the repairs. They said that since I'm an engineer, they would allow me to purchase parts, install them, and then deduct the cost of the repairs from my rent payment. They said it was either this or learn to make do. I was not super thrilled at this response. I replied back to them saying if they were willing to deduct my time and cost of the parts from my rent, that I would get started immediately. Thank you very much. They were thrilled to hear it and asked me to send receipts for their records when everything is finished. Great. Now to put together all the pieces and get to work. The first step was to file for an LLC with my current state. Next, I set up some cameras and a borrowed GoPro from one of my hiking mates. I was able to document all the repair process, from me watching YouTube videos of how to do things to me making multiple runs to the parts store to get that piece I didn't know I needed. Here's the kicker. At my day job, I make over $50 an hour. That's what my time is valued at. The final bill for everything has worked out to be about 12% higher than the quoted cost, and the landlord's very upset, but my lawyer added to the email chain has kept them very civil. Edit. Always a good reminder that hiring out to the professional trade is most often a cost savings compared to the average person figuring out how to do it themselves. The landlord got lucky you already had my prior experience as an engineer, so it didn't take even longer to introduce new problems from doing their work wrong. Edit 2. I had an engineering professor tell me that if work fell into my lap like that, the typical practice was to charge triple the hourly company rate. Your tenant employee didn't expect his engineering skills to lead to such a fun and unusual turn of events. Rumor has it he thought you would do the heavy repairs for free, but it seems he got more than he bargained for. I know a similar story. This man was interested in preserving nature and decided to plant the front and back of his lawn as a step or meadow landscape. The neighbors complained, saying that it attracted rats and provided them with shelter, so it was illegal. According to my information, the meadow landscape actually prevents rats, but no one was interested in this information. The owner of the house got the official status of a meadow landscape or something like that, and then the local authorities couldn't touch it. We used to drive by his house when we were teenagers, and it was an amazing sight with all these natural flowers in bloom that you couldn't see anywhere else. And I want to add one more thing. Your conclusion that a professional is usually more cost-effective in terms of repairs compared to a person trying to do it themselves is true wisdom. Subscribe, click the like button if you want to support the channel. Thank you for watching.